Hi, welcome back to the Beauty Authority. I'm Tatiana Bito, Director of Aesthetic Content. Today we're talking about neurotoxin injections, but not just any neurotoxin. We're talking about Daxxify, which is said to be the longest lasting neurotoxin on the market. And today we're talking to Julia, who is a patient of Dr. Annie Gonzalez in Miami. I'd love to hear, Julia, from you, your experience with Daxxify.
Well, my experience has been really amazing. I love the product. Before, I used to use a different brand, of course, but I noticed the results didn't last as long, or probably at the beginning they were a little bit too extreme. You always say, like, oh, for the first 2, 3 weeks, you're not going to like the results, and then you're going to like them, which I thought was weird. And I noticed that with Daxxify, that doesn't happen. Like, I'm usually extremely happy with the results almost right away, even though they say it takes a while. But you get this beautiful, natural refresh in your face, and they will last way longer than the other brands. Sometimes I will have to go every 2, 3 months. And then with this one, it's like almost every year. So to me, that's amazing.
Yeah, I also am a Daxxify user. And I've noticed too, like I don't have to go in as often to redo my injections. They last so much longer. For me, I think I get about a 5 month result. How long do you think yours lasts?
To be honest, like a year. I do it like almost every
Wow.
year. I am not the type of person that will see the little thing and will run. So let's say I will try to prolong it as long as I can.
Yeah.
I usually try to time it around my birthday. Every time that my birthday comes around, I'm like, okay, it's time to do a little refresh, a little touch here and there. And I'm always extremely happy with the results.
So we were talking a little earlier before we started. We're both the same age. We're both 47. When
Yes.
did you start your injections?
Let's say I started when I was 35. I will do it now I do it every year. Back then it was like every 2 years, but I always knew that you need to do it in order to prevent. A lot of time people have this misconception that you already have like big lines or big, wrinkles, and then you need to start doing Botox. And that's not the way it is. You actually do it to prevent those big wrinkles to happen. So since I knew that, I was 35 and I noticed a little bit here, and I was like, okay, maybe this is the time to start preventing those little lines. And I've been very happy with the results since then.
Yeah, I think my first injections was just in my forehead, but as I've gotten older, I go around the eyes too. Sometimes I'll do my jawline. What areas do you get injected with Daxxify?
Usually my forehead, around here, and that's it. So far, this is where my areas of concern.
Yeah, that is extremely low maintenance, by the way.
Yeah, and I love the results. I always think also less is more. You go through all these phases when you do a lot, and then I don't like it, or then a little, and it's too little, and then you learn how to manage like the perfect amount. And of course, Dr. Gonzalez, who is the one who does my Daxify, she is really good, and she understands me completely when I say I want to age gracefully. Like, I don't want to look like I cannot even move my face, but I just want to, little by little, aging in a way that I feel comfortable and that I feel happy, and that's it.
And then did you notice there was any difference in how your treatment was administered? Because I think sometimes people think that because it lasts longer, you might need so much more or many more injections. Was there anything that you could pick up on that was different?
No, not really. Actually, no. The thing that I love the most, like I say, is that I don't go through that uncomfortable period that I used to go with the other brands.
Right.
3 week that you are like, oh, it's normal. I remember one picture my husband took, and I keep saying, repeat the picture, repeat the picture. He's like, Julia, you look like that. And we start laughing. He's like, that's how you look right now. And I was like, oh my God, I need to wait for this to wear off, which I didn't like, because the whole point was to try to make me look better, not to not make me look better for a certain period of time. And I noticed that with Daxify, that doesn't happen. So I'm extremely happy. Like, the results last longer, but in my opinion, they look more natural. So
Right.
I love it.
And if someone is on the fence and they're thinking about it or they want to try it, what is your advice to them?
My advice is that don't wait. Again, this is preventive. A lot of people have this misconception, of course, because unfortunately, a lot of people take it too far with, how do you call when they inject here?
Yeah, getting overfilled with filler, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have the even my husband back then, I remember I used to keep it like hide from him, because if I say the word I'm gonna get this, he will be like, oh, no, 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 please, I don't want you to have this. So they think it is when they get the fillers, and they get too much fillers, because I love fillers too, if you do
Right.
it small. But this is not like that. This will not change the way you look. This will not change your face or alter your face in any way. It will just prevent the wrinkles to form, because you don't have much movement, let's put it that way, which,
Yeah. And you don't get that frozen look.
yeah,
Yeah.
as you can see, look, I still have the movement. I still can feel surprised and, oh, angry, and I love that. But before, when I used to have, like, I cannot even move, like I say,
Right.
like this, and my pictures, I will look like this, and to me that looked weird, and I
And to
didn't.
be fair, that could be an injection technique too, or like hitting the wrong area. But I've been there before myself where I've had a Grinch eyebrow. And just to be on meetings with people on Zoom, I'm like not surprised, but you look surprised the whole time. Like,
No, to me, it was more like I will get this effect constantly. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't matter if I was sad, if I still want to have a little bit of
a little
movement.
motion. Yeah.
Yeah, that without the wrinkleness effect in my whole face.
So you said every birthday. So you have a ways to go because you told me earlier your birthday is early
Mark.
next year, March of next year. So was this a recent injection that you've had? You look great.
Thank you so much. Yes, I think I did it on March, was it? No, it was before going. This time was before going to Europe. That it was on May. So yes, I get it at the end of March. Actually, I usually do it for my birthday, for like a big event that I want to make sure I look very good or good. So that's when I go in, and I'm always loving the results.
Wonderful. Well, I was a May injection. I had my injections in May also.
Hey, also the same.
Before we got on today, I was like, how are they doing? Still looking good. I can move and I'm not too frozen.
Exactly. A little bit of movement is always to me perfection. If I'm froze, like I don't like it whatsoever. And then if I see too much movement or too many lines on here, you see, I don't get any. This is when it's perfect. When I start noticing the little lines, I'm like, okay, it's time to go.
Time for a refresh. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I'm going to assume that the next time you go in to see Dr. Gonzalez, you will be choosing Daxxify again.
Of course, yes, I love it. I have nothing but incredible results every single time I've been using it. And I don't see myself going back to the other one. I love that the results that I see even from day one are to me perfect. So I will stick to it as long as I can.
Thank you so much for talking to us. We're going to now talk to Dr. Gonzalez and learn a little bit more about Daxxify. Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you for having me.
We were just talking with Julia, and now we're joined by Dr. Annie Gonzalez in Miami, Florida. Dr. Gonzalez, what sets Daxxify apart from all the other neurotoxins on the market?
Daxxify is very, very unique. It's the first and only FDA-approved neuromodulator in the market that offers this peptide-powered technology. You're probably wondering what that is. And basically, this peptide is a non-human or non-animal-based protein. So it's the only one that doesn't contain any human or animal-based protein the peptide allows for the formulation to act fast and last longer. And that's what makes it so unique because it is the only one. And this has been one of the biggest discoveries in the last 20 years when it comes to neuromodulators.
Can you explain that a little bit? Is that human album? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah.
Correct. Human albumin, which every other
Okay.
neuromodulator out there has it as a stabilizer. So we are synthetically, Daxxify has this synthetic peptide, which allows it not to use human albumin. Instead, it uses this peptide.
And so, as far as the longer lasting results, and I was telling Julia, I use Daxxify, so I see it myself. For me, it lasts about 5 to 6 months, which reduces my time going in office to just twice a year and makes it so much easier. But what is the science behind that?
Exactly. It's most patients are reporting the same thing as you, Tatiana, that they basically can go in and get as little as only 2 treatments per year. So the busy gal like you and I, that we don't have much time to be going to the doctor's appointments, even to beautify ourselves, just being able to just have those two treatments a year for a neurotoxin is absolutely wonderful. And what allows this is exactly that peptide power technology, that PXT that I was mentioning. Because this peptide, what it basically does, and to explain it in terms that everybody can understand, is that the peptide allows for the active ingredient, which is a botulinum toxin, to be extremely attracted, have the higher affinity, almost like a magnet to the nerve muscle junction, which is where the action is, which is how it works. So that higher affinity, it allows to last longer around the nerve muscle junction. And that's why it's able to exert action fast. So a very fast onset and
Yeah.
also last longer.
That's what Julia was saying. She said that typical week period where she's kind of waiting for her results to develop is gone. It's like right after her treatment, she sees it almost right away. Is that what your patients are reporting too?
Yeah, exactly. So most patients say that as soon as, even the next day, they're already seeing some areas where it's kicking in. And as little as 2 days, most areas have already kicked in. I always tell every patient 2 weeks for it to fully settled. But that 1 to 2 days for most patients where they're seeing, a good 80%, of it already kicking in, it's wonderful, especially if you have an event or something like that. Patients do love that. And something else that a lot of my patients tell me is also a Daxi effect that changes the skin texture. They love that glow in the skin that they also attain from the Daxxify. So I don't know if you experienced that, Tatiana.
Is that I feel like one day I wake up and everything is just like a light switch turned off and my wrinkles are gone and my skin looks glowier and I look less worried and stressed. So it's hard for me to tell, but I think I'm going to say yes.
I feel exactly the same. It's like, why didn't we do this before? Yeah, for me, it lasts about, the same for a lot of my patients. It does last about the 6 months that we're talking about. Even for some patients, not the majority, but for some, it is even up to 9 months.
Yeah.
So, the fact that you could get as little as two treatments per year is great. If some gals like me that work out a lot, sometimes even if we're able to get 5, 6 months, 4, 5 months. That's even longer than the typical duration of other toxins out there that were probably lasting even less than 3 months.
And then what should patients know outside of the fact that it lasts longer and the peptide formulation? Is there anything else that is notable that patients should know about?
It is approved for glabellar lines and for adults, so you must wait until you're an adult to get it treated. But I think really it's just this peptide power technology that has no human or animal proteins for that patient. That's also really important to use something more natural. I think that could be a crucial factor that they take into account when they're making a decision if they're starting a new toxin. But the fast onset and longer duration, I think is something that a lot of patients were waiting for, even for those that are not naive and have been doing toxin for a while, like myself.
Mhm.
So I think that really makes it highlight, and definitely that difference in skin texture. I think that's something else that I appreciate when I do it myself, and a lot of my patients tell me the same. So I think that also sets it apart from others, that smoothness in the forehead every time we get that treatment.
And then if you're using it off label for, let's say, a lip lift or jawline contouring or masseter injections, should you expect to see that same longer duration?
That's an interesting question, and another one that we're still observing. And it is completely off label. Daxxify was used in the study just in the frown lines or glabellar area. So, but like a lot of things that we do in aesthetic medicine, we also go off label areas. And typically, when we're treating lower face, I am seeing a little bit of a longer duration with this one as well. But it all depends on the dose, and because that dosing hasn't been exactly studied,
Right.
it's a lot of it based on your patient, the provider that's administering the treatment, what dose they feel comfortable administering. But I do see a slightly longer duration in those areas as well.
Wonderful. And I totally get it. You can't say unless there's been a clinical study that it can last this long in that area or that long in
Yeah.
that area. But wonderful. That makes sense. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Gonzalez. This has been super insightful and wonderful to hear Julia's side of things and also hear what your patients are experiencing. So thank you for coming and speaking with us at New Beauty.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.